Okay, so before starting this lesson, I just want to let you know that this lesson is coming from this book, and this is Microsoft's #1 selling Excel book, and they asked Dr. Winston to write it. And the reason I'm telling you this isn't to buy the book. The content's free, like we're posting YouTube videos, right? It's more to let you know that you're getting a world-class education if you just watch the content. The video's there, just watch the whole thing. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We're more than happy to help. The only requirement, if I answer the question or if Dr. Winston does, is that we can make the video so more people can watch it, right? So we can have the solution for you guys and girls, and then we can post it to where other people can find it valuable. And again, underneath in the description, there are going to be the start files and the ending files, meaning you can download them. No email, you don't need anything. Just click on the link. You'll automatically download the files, and you can follow along, and you can have the formulas in your spreadsheet or in Dr. Winston's spreadsheet. And then we do offer a free 21-day course. Again, the link is in the description, or you can go to excelwithwayne.com/free. And so yeah, but again, if you do like this video, if you could comment and if you could like it and subscribe. And the reason for this is not just to be notified, because you will every time we post a video, and we're trying to post, I don't know, we're trying to do 3 a week, but I'm going to start making content as well, and we should hopefully be able to do 1 a day. And so yeah, but also the bigger benefit is that if you think the content is valuable, then by liking and commenting and subscribing to the channel, more people will see it. The algorithm of YouTube will push the video to more people. And so we just want to make sure that we can reach as many people as we want. It's free, it's YouTube, right? So like the content is there, and so we hope you find it valuable. And again, if you have any questions, just go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll be monitoring it. And I'm more than happy to help, more than happy to answer. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video.
Forecasting in a company is beneficial for many reasons: cost reduction, inventory management, more effective scheduling, and the list goes on and on. Being able to optimally forecast does not just reduce cost, but can also give an organization a competitive advantage. Learning ratio to moving average in Excel will help you become better at building data models that help reduce cost, plan more efficiently, and overall run a better company. Dr. Winston solves this by showing how to use the ratio to moving average method in the presence of trend and seasonality.
Many of you probably have to predict future quarterly or monthly sales of products for your company. So in this video and the next video, I want to show you an easy method that can be implemented in Excel to predict future sales. It's called the ratio to moving average method. And then later we'll teach you a more complex method, Winner's exponential smoothing. So let's suppose you have 5 years of sales. So you have quarters 1 through 20 of sales. And so the first quarter is the first quarter of the year, let's say January through March. The second quarter is April through June, etc. Here are your actual sales. And what you want to know is what might the next 4 quarters of sales be, given that we have 5 years of sales. Okay, so what you have to understand is in any time series, in other words, sales is a time series, it's quantity varying over time, there are 3 things going on. There's a level of the series, in other words, where are we at in a given quarter? Are we selling 50 or 60? You might say this is simple, but it's not because of seasonality. There's a seasonal index. For instance, if you look at Amazon.com, the 4th quarter seasonal index for Amazon is about, let's say, 1.33. That would mean Amazon sells 33% more in the 4th quarter than an average quarter, mainly because of Christmas. Of course, other quarters must be smaller than that. So the trick in knowing the level is you can't just look at the sales in that quarter because of the seasonality. And then the final part of the time series that we'll look at is the trend. In other words, is there an upward trend in sales? Okay. So the ratio to moving average method tries to sort of deal with these 3 things in a very clever fashion. Okay. So first what you do is compute a moving average starting in the 3rd quarter here. We'll do this for quarterly data. So you'd average the first 4 quarters. Okay, if you're doing monthly, you'd average 12 months, okay? Because then the seasonality washes out. If you average 4 quarters, you have 1 quarter from each of the 4 quarters of the year. So right here, we average the first 4 quarters. We can first do that in quarter 2. And then we copy that down. We would average quarters 2 through 5. Okay, now the next step is to get what's called the centered moving average, and this is very clever. It estimates the level during a given quarter. So if you think about this, what we're doing here in G7 is averaging the moving average in F6 and F7. Now let's think about that. F6 averages quarters 1 through 4. F7 averages quarters 2 through 5. Now, if you think about this, if you average quarters 1 through 4, what's the average of numbers 1 through 4? 2.5. So F6 is sort of where the process was in quarter 2.5. And if you average 2 through 5, what you get is 3.5. So F7 is where the process was in quarter 3.5. So if you would basically, if you would average F6 and F7 here, you get where the quarter is, where the level of the series is during basically quarter 3. Average F6 and F7 estimates where the level of sales is, and there's no seasonality there because you've averaged one of each of the 4 quarters in each of those 4 period moving averages, where this level of sales is for quarter 3. Okay, so you copy that down. This would be where the series is with no seasonality, an estimate of level in quarter 4. Okay, now we can sort of get its seasonality. Because, for example, if we look here during the 3rd quarter of data, we believe the level of the process was at 55, but we sold 58. That would indicate we sold 58 divided by 55, or 11, basically, we sold 61, I'm sorry. So we sold 61, and we believe the level was 55, so we sold 61 over 55, 11% more than average. Here we sold 79, the level was 61, we sold about 30% more than average. Here we only sold 48, our best guess at the level was 67, we sold 29% below average. Well, what you could do now is estimate the seasonal indices. So if you would average every time it's the 1st quarter of the year, what's going on in column H, you would estimate the seasonality index for the 1st quarter. Now these should average to 1, and we'll fudge them so they do. So we used an old friend of ours from previous modules, the average if function. If column D equals 1, okay, I'm going to average column H, which is sort of the estimate of the seasonality for that quarter. So every time there's a 1 here, okay, in row 7 through 22, there's a reason we use only 18 quarters, because that centered moving average, we can't keep it going beyond quarter 18 with the data that we have. So basically this says every time there's a 1 in column D, average the ratio of the actual to the centered moving average. That's not country music. Okay. So then we get quarter 1 is not that good, 82% of average. Quarter 2 is 94% of average. Quarter 3 is 7% above average. Quarter 4 is 20% above average. Now to normalize that, we take each of these divided by the sum of them, and that'll make these things add up to 4, or average out to 1. Okay. So now we have a seasonal index. Now how can we make a forecast for the future? Well, we need an estimate of basically what is happening to this centered moving average in the future. So we could fit a trend line to this data. Okay, we could do this with the trend curve, or we can use Excel functions. I chose to use Excel functions. So there's a slope function. So I would have the quarters 3 through 18. Again, quarters 1 and 2, I don't have an estimate at the level here, because the quarter 3 was the first quarter I could estimate the level the way we did this. So if I say take the slope using the level estimates in yellow for quarters 3 through 18 as the dependent, and the independent variable is the quarter number 3 through 18, I get an estimate of the slope. Our sales are going up after adjusting for seasonality about 7 per quarter. Then there's an intercept function to get the intercept. So now I can estimate basically where the level of the process is from this trend line. We'll see a sort of a different way that may be better in the next video of doing this, but this is the basic method. So for quarters 21 through 24, I will predict sort of the level of the process. So I take the intercept, which I name, plus the slope times 21, plus the slope times 22, etc. So every quarter, we go up by about 7 in our estimate of where the level is. Now, how do you change that to a forecast? you multiply the level by the seasonal index. And so where that would be done, or how that would be done, would be by using the estimate of where the level is, and then do a lookup on the seasonality, the quarter you're in, which is quarter one here, and use the range season, which is right up here, and then you pick off from the third quarter the seasonal index. So the first quarter, we're going to have a pretty low forecast because that's not good from the standpoint of seasonality. The fourth quarter will have by far the best forecast because our estimate at the level was going up, as well as the fourth quarter having the highest seasonal index. So that would be our forecast for the next 4 quarters. Now you might say a flaw in this method is I estimated the trend by using all the data that I had available through quarter 18. Perhaps I would do better if I estimated the trend using more recent data. So we'll show you how, for example, you could use the last 4 quarters of data to estimate a more recent trend. You'd probably have to optimize what's the number of quarters to go back to best estimate the trend to forecast the future, but that's beyond the scope of what we want to do.
All right, so now that you watched the video, we hope you like this stuff. I mean, we're going to be posting a lot of content, hopefully. The goal is to do 2 to 3 of Dr. Winston's videos a week, and then 3 to 4 or 5. The goal is 1 a day, so 7 of me producing content or me answering questions, from people and stuff like that. I mean, you guys probably don't know me, and girls, but I'm an alumni of Dr. Winston's. I am a consultant in Excel. I do this stuff for a living. And so, yeah, if you have any questions on this or in general, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Not so much just so you get a update, but more because, if you think this video is good or you like the content and you think other people will like the content as you like and as you comment and as you subscribe, YouTube, the algorithm is going to push this to other people. It's gonna be on their homepage, people searches and stuff like that. And so our goal is to get this content out, to as many people as possible. I mean, it's free, but it's really, really good. I'm an alumni, again, of Dr. Winston's, and I can personally, vouch for it because I was in his classes. I took all of his classes. I took his marketing analytics. I took his data modeling class, his stats class, his financial analytics class. Like, I've done it all. And it's just amazing content. And the challenge with YouTube is there's not in-depth content as to where with this you have really, really in-depth content. And so, yeah, any questions, let me know, leave a comment, and I'll be there to help. Thanks.